Lesson number 11. The 11th lesson is moksha or spiritual value, which is the fourth grand object of aspiration of ideal human life. The fourth grand object of aspiration or grand goal of ideal human life, according to our great, glorious, lofty, unique and ideal ancient Indian culture or Bharatiya Sanskriti, is moksha or liberation of soul. It is spiritual value. It is the higher and the supreme grand object of aspiration or grand goal of ideal human life. Its meaning: moksha means liberation of the soul, or merger or union of the individual soul with the supreme soul. This is also called self-realization or God realization. Its necessity: moksha is the fourth, last, higher and the supreme grand object of aspiration or grand goal of ideal human life, according to our ideal ancient Indian culture or Bharatiya Sanskriti. With achievement of moksha, the superstructure of human life can be constructed completely, properly, strongly and nicely. Consequently, the future human life can be ideal, complete and successful. That is, it can be permanently happy and eternally peaceful, and thus it can be lived ideally. But without achievement of moksha, the superstructure of human life will be incomplete, improper, weak and failure. Consequently, the future human life will be failure, incomplete and unsuccessful in the real sense. That is, it will be filled with failures, sorrows, sufferings, miseries, unhappiness and peacelessness, and also it cannot be lived ideally. Therefore, achievement of moksha is vitally necessary and ought to be considered as indispensable in human life. In this universe, everything is changing and going through the process of evolution in accordance with the laws of nature. The lowest of the creation, that is the inanimate stones and mountains, evolve into living plants and trees. Plants and trees evolve into insects and animals. Insects and animals evolve into human beings, the crown of creation. Then the turn comes for human beings to evolve and transform themselves into divinity, the state of their creator himself, and get united or merged with the creator. This is known as moksha or liberation of the soul, or merger or union of the individual soul with the supreme soul. This is also called self-realization or God realization. On attainment of moksha, the process of evolution gets completed. Consequently, the individual soul gets permanently liberated from the wheel of births and deaths, from the greatest bondage, and does not take further rebirth in any species of life. Thus, there is a permanent end of rebirth, and consequently there is a permanent cessation of worldly sorrows, sufferings and miseries. Because birth of the individual soul in any species of life upon the earth plane is full of worldly sorrows, sufferings and miseries. And the individual soul of the human beings gets everlasting happiness and eternal peace. Thus, moksha, as our ancient holy scriptures and our rishis, munis, saints and sages say, is the highest purpose or the supreme purpose of human life, for attainment of which only the Creator has gifted this human birth to human beings. Therefore, attainment of moksha is supremely necessary and indispensable in the lives of human beings. Living of secular life with achievement of the first grand goal of life, that is artha, that is earning of money and acquiring of material wealth, in order to meet the basic and other secular necessities of life of themselves and their family members, such as food, clothing, house, medicines, education of children, their marriages, engagement and some occupations, business or profession, and social and national needs and obligations, etc., and with achievement of the second grand goal of life, that is karma, that is fulfilling of vital worldly desires in order to derive worldly happiness and sensual pleasures and worldly comforts and luxuries, gives pleasures and happiness of the body, mind, and senses in human life. But such pleasures and happiness are purely temporary and subject to exhaustion. Therefore, when such types of happiness and pleasures soon get exhausted, their exhaustion gives rise to sorrows, sufferings, and miseries in human life. Indulgence in worldly enjoyments and sensual pleasures also brings in weaknesses, sicknesses, and diseases in physical body and mind, which also cause sufferings and pains in human life. Thus, secular life with achievement of artha and kama does not give permanent happiness in human life and also does not bestow eternal peace in human life. Further, when the basic material or other secular necessities and wants of the human life are met and worldly desires are fulfilled, more and more such new wants and desires crop up for fulfillment. Also, wants and desires for deriving more comforts and then wants and desires for enjoying luxuries in life are felt, and those wants and desires propel human beings to make unending endeavors for their fulfillment. This phenomenon takes place because human wants and desires are insatiable and unlimited. Therefore, human beings keep on earning more and more money and in acquiring more and more material wealth, even by resorting to unethical, unfair, and unjust means of earning, dishonesty, corruption, etc., and by causing loss, harm, damages to their fellow beings in the society in order to fulfill their such kind of ever increasing wants and desires. Also, constant desire to earn more and more money and acquire more and more material wealth develops greediness in the minds of human beings, and because of the greediness, they keep on earning more and more money and acquiring more and more material wealth. Again, even by resorting to unethical, unfair, and unjust means of earning, dishonesty, corruption, etc., and by causing loss, harm, damages to their fellow beings in the society. Such unethical, unfair, and unjust actions result in unhappiness, sorrows, and sufferings in human lives because, according to the inexorable law of actions or karmas, that is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Bad actions result in bad results, failures, sorrows, sufferings, unhappiness, restlessness, etc. in human life. Thus, ultimately, living of the secular life with artha and kama leads to failures, sorrows, sufferings, pains, and miseries only in human life in the real sense. This gives rise to the need to find out such a life which gives permanent happiness in human life. Further, human beings achieve great material prosperity, enjoy enormous worldly comforts and luxuries, and get abundant physical, mental, and sensual pleasures. But in spite of the same, all of them feel something wanting. And knowingly or unknowingly, all human beings hanker after or aspire for or search for that something wanting. That something wanting is what we call peace in human life. Such peace is known as bliss in spiritual parlance. Such peace or bliss is permanent or eternal, but it cannot be derived by living the secular life as discussed. Therefore, there is a need to find out such a life by living which human beings can derive eternal peace in their lives. Our holy scriptures and our saints sages say that living of spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana by practicing yoga and Vedanta upon the foundation of living of religious life or dharmika jivana or ethical life alone bestows permanent happiness and the most sought after eternal peace or bliss in human life with permanent cessation of worldly sorrows and sufferings. Therefore, human beings need to live the spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana so that they can derive permanent happiness and eternal peace in their lives. This is for their highest welfare and supreme good. Thus, the great necessity of living of spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana by human beings is utmost importance. Our holy scriptures as well as our saints and sages say that achievement of moksha or liberation of soul or union of individual soul with the supreme soul, which is known as self-realization or God realization, is the highest duty or highest dharma of human beings in so far as dharma is defined as duty. And observance of dharma in the day-to-day human life is necessary and indispensable for human beings as has been discussed. The first discussed regarding dharma, the first grand object of aspiration or grand goal of ideal human life. Therefore, it is vitally necessary for human beings to achieve moksha by living the adhyatmika jivana or spiritual life in their day-to-day life, accepting achievement of moksha as their highest duty or highest dharma. In view of the foregoing, moksha is extremely, vitally and supremely necessary and also indispensable in human life. Importance. As discussed, according to our great, glorious, lofty, unique and ideal Bharatiya Sanskriti or Indian culture, moksha or liberation of soul or union of individual soul with the supreme soul, which is known as self-realization or God realization, is the supreme grand object of aspiration of the greatest grand goal of ideal human life. Our holy scriptures and our saints and sages say that moksha alone grants permanent happiness and eternal peace in human life with permanent cessation of sorrows and sufferings. Therefore, our ancient Bharatiya Sanskriti or Indian culture attaches highest importance to achievement of the supreme grand object of aspiration or the greatest grand goal of life in the life of the human beings. Our holy scriptures and our saints and sages further say that the supreme goal of human life can be achieved in human birth only and in no other species of life. Through living the spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana by practicing yoga and Vedanta in one's day-to-day life, human beings have been gifted the human birth after having gone through their births in 84 lakh species of life, including the life of plants, trees, insects, birds and animals, and therefore human birth is a rare and precious gift of God, the Creator, to the human beings. They further say that attainment of moksha, the higher purpose or the supreme purpose of human life, is possible only in human birth and in no other species of life, because human beings have been endowed with the unique quality of intellect, with the help of which they can discriminate between right and wrong, and they can choose to take right actions. proceed in the right path of life, and make their best endeavors for attainment of moksha in this very human birth. In this way, they can live their life wisely, purposefully, successfully, ideally, unlike the animals that take their birth and instinctively source their food, eat, sleep, procreate, enjoy, suffer, fear, untimely meet with their death, and thus live their life purposelessly and sorrowfully. So, if human beings do not attain moksha in this rare and precious present human birth itself, they lose this unique golden opportunity of rare human birth. In this case, they do not get liberation from the wheel of births and deaths, and they go back to lower species of life and continue to take rebirths life after life in 84 lakh species of life. And consequently, they continue to get sorrows and sufferings in whatever species of life they are reborn, because life upon earth plane in any species is full of sorrows, sufferings, and miseries. In view of the same, our holy scriptures and our saints and sages say that achievement of moksha, the supreme grand goal of human life, by living the spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana, is extremely important. Besides being indispensable in human life, and that too in the present human birth itself. Therefore, they exert time and again that all human beings ought to achieve moksha by living the spiritual life or adhyatmika jivana in their present human birth itself, for their highest welfare and supreme good. The benefits: human beings will get moksha or liberation from the wheels of births and deaths, the greatest bondage, once for all, and there will be no further rebirths in any species of life upon the earth plane. Human beings will get permanent freedom from sorrows, sufferings, and miseries of human life. Human beings will get everlasting happiness and eternal peace. Manner: our holy scriptures and our saints and sages say that moksha can be achieved by living of spiritual life, adhyatmika jivana, that is by practicing yoga and Vedanta such as karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, jnana yoga, etc. in our day-to-day human life. To know more about moksha, for acquiring detailed knowledge on this topic, please study the lesson number 12 on spiritual pursuit, moksha or spiritual value, in volume number 11 of the book Youth, Arise, Awake and Adopt the Right Path of Life, written by Swami Shivananda Saraswati and Swami Chidananda Saraswati. Here it is most important to note that the first grand goal and the fourth grand goal, that is dharma or ethical value and moksha or spiritual value, are the higher goals, and therefore those two grand goals occupy the primary place in human life. The second grand goal and the third grand goal, that is artha or economic value, kama or vital value, are the subordinate goals, and therefore those two grand goals have been given the secondary position in human life. Further, these four grand goals of life are necessarily to be achieved in human life according to our great, glorious, lofty, unique and ideal ancient in Indian culture or Bharatiya Sanskriti. Without achievement of all these four grand goals of life, human life will not be complete, fulfilled, successful, purposeful, prosperous, happy and peaceful. And then human life will not be said to have been lived ideally, because as our holy scriptures and our saints and sages say, with the achievement of the two grand goals of life, that is artha and kama, human beings may live their life with great material prosperity and abundant sensual pleasures, worldly comforts and luxuries, But without achievement of the other two grand goals of life, that is dharma and moksha, their life will remain incomplete and unfulfilled, and they cannot get real success, true prosperity, everlasting happiness, and eternal peace in their lives. Instead, their lives will be filled with failures, sorrows, miseries, pains, unhappiness, and peacelessness, and will end in vain without achievement of the higher purpose or the supreme purpose of human life. As has been discussed till yet, spirituality or the science of the self or Brahma Vidya can be discussed by knowing four broad points. They are real identity of human beings, true purpose of human life, paths for achievement of true purpose of human life, and efforts needed to achieve the same. The last 2 points can be divided into many sub points. We have discussed the first 2 points in the earlier 2 lessons in this program. Now, let us discuss the other 2 points, that is spiritual preceptor, yoga and Vedanta, japa yoga, yoga of synthesis, spiritual practices, company of saints, study of holy scriptures, divine life, etc., through the following lessons in this program. Here ends lesson number 11 on moksha or spiritual value.